Hi guys, welcome to this edition of the Counter Press. I'm excited. You can see my name again remains Fiifi-Manfred, and it's great to have you here. It's a Sunday, 4th of June, 2023. Somewhere around 19 o'clock GMT thereabouts Ghana time that I'm shooting this. So, thank you. So today's for my Chelsea fans, and I'll run you quickly through it. It's for the recent outgoings and incomings of Chelsea Football Club. What has been the recent ones? There have been multiple reports. I want to make them make sense to you as to where Chelsea have been, why Chelsea are where they are, and what the news in itself is right now for Chelsea Football Club. So thank you very much for joining, and I'll run you through them quickly. First of all is the outgoings. The story of Mason Mount is a big one. So Mason Mount is not a bad player. There have been reports that Manchester United are willing to pay 50 million in excesses of that for the young Englishman. Mason Mount has just a year and a half left on his contract at Chelsea Football Club. Both parties, I mean Chelsea and Mason Mount and his entourage, have not been able to meet at a truce to be able to find an agreement for a contract extension for the Englishman. Hence, it looks like the Englishman may be leaving South London to go to Manchester, and Eric Ten Hag seems to like him. And like I said, Mason Mount is a top player as an inside number 10, as somebody that injects pace and aggression in the middle of the park, especially an off-the-ball pace with respect to press and what have you. He's a relentless hard worker of a player. He's tireless in terms of pressing up front. He plays very, very good football from out wide and then playing as an inverted 10. That's what Mason Mount gives you. He's a technical player. Adds some free kicks to his game. His hold-up play from out wide is good. Combination play in those left and right half spaces is a top one. So Mason is a good player. In fact, his statistics are here for you, everybody to see with respect to how he plays. So if Chelsea is able to keep him, Mauricio Pochettino wanted to use him like how he used Dele Alli whilst he was at Tottenham Hotspur as an inside number 10. His shots per game ratio, his pass, and then his press per distance ratio is good. And he wants to keep him in the club. But then it looks as if Chelsea would want to cut the losses if they realize that Messi is not going to sign. Instead of losing him for free, for nothing, they would want to see the young Englishman go just so they can replace him. So that's the update with Mason Mount in that regard. And I think that if Chelsea are making 50 million for Mason Mount, that's a good purchase. That's a good buy. And I'm all for that as well as a Chelsea fan myself. Then to the next one of Kai Havertz. Just in the last 2 days, since Thursday, Friday, there have been multiple reports from all across Germany and Europe, and of course some parts of Africa as well, that Chelsea are possibly going to lose Kai Havertz, especially since there has been confirmation that Karim Mustafa Benzema isn't going to be there as a striker for Real Madrid. So it means that the most viable options in attack for Real Madrid are just the two Brazilian, Rodrigo Goes and of course Vinicius Jr. And then there's a need for them to augment that part of the play. And Kai Havertz has been earmarked as one of the players that Carlo Ancelotti loves. I don't think that necessarily Kai Havertz is a replacement for Karim Mustafa Benzema. I don't think so. I think that generally for Karim Mustafa Benzema, you need a proper striker. And Harry Kane, Victor Osimhen, Randall Colomwani, Dominic Szoboszlai, Dusan Vlahovic, and of course Erasmus Holland. These are all top strikers that Real Madrid will be looking at, and of course all of them too are young. I just think that it is just too early for them in their project. They wanted to at least augment and finish the midfield rebuild before they go ahead to get a proper striker, since Mbappe and of course Erling Haaland, where their first choices aren't available in the market. But then Kai Havertz going away, I know for sure, for a fact, especially from multiple sources that I've spoken to, from Jacobs Ben, and from a lot of the Chelsea people I've spoken to who report from London, that Chelsea will want to keep Kai Havertz as it stands. Chelsea feel that Kai Havertz is an important person, an important player, an important profile, especially since they are possibly going to look Mason Mount. Kai Havertz may stay on as a Chelsea player as it stands now, and that's going to be very, very important for Chelsea to keep him. But then again, if you're unable to, realize that negotiations and see it, well, then possibly Kai Havertz may go away to Real Madrid. And of course, for good money, for 50, 60, 70 million, 80 million pounds, that's good money for Chelsea to rebuild and to be able to make some very, very prudent decisions. Maybe it's time for a new guard to go out with Chelsea Football Club. So that's not going to be bad at all. But Kai Havertz hasn't been entirely bad for the club. In a season that was characterized as mediocre, his goals did help very well for Chelsea Football Club. So that's it with Kai Havertz. Christian Pulisic is on his way to Italy. Juventus, AC Milan, International Milan are all looking at him. There is also Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who already has had deep-seated conversations with AC Milan, and he's definitely going to be in the Italian Serie A next season. Trevor Chalobah says that he wants to wait to see if he has a chance with Mauricio Pochettino before he makes any final decisions on himself. So that's it with Trevor Chalobah. Then the big one, Matthew Kovacic. The Croat is a top player. I mean, anybody that sees Matthew Kovacic as a top player will be lying. He's press resistant. His ball holding ability is solid. He's a wonderful ball carrier. He's a super dribbler, and of course, that makes him a press resistant player. And what makes it even better is the fact that he has a low center of gravity as well. So it's almost impossible to rob him of the ball, especially when he's able to cover the full circumference of the ball. So he is a player that you'd want in your team, especially if you need to break down presses, if you want to carry the ball forward quickly so that you can evade about 2 or 3 passing lines. Then Matthew Kovacic is your man. The problem, however, is that Matthew Kovacic in the last 2 seasons hasn't had enough game time. He has had issues with injury. In the 2 seasons, he has had a cumulative injury, different injuries of about 8 or 10 more as it stands now. Matthew Kovacic last season played 17 games, and about 10 of them were off the bench. The season before, 16 games, about 6 of them were off the bench. For a player who has just 1 year left on his contract, 29 years. For Chelsea, a team that's in transition, a team that's rebuilding, maybe Matthew Kovacic is not a player to go ahead with, especially since he's not playing consistently, especially since he's not being able to play very well for the club. And I mean, how good can you say you are if you're not fit enough to even play? That's the story of Matthew Kovacic. So yes, Kovacic is good, but he has not been able to play very well for Chelsea. Maybe at Manchester City, there's less pressure. The team is not under transition. There are lots more in terms of depth in quality of midfield. I don't think it's going to be a replacement for Gundogan. Closer, he's probably going to be that of Bernardo Silva. And I hear PSG want Bernardo Silva. So yes, maybe Bernardo Silva. But there's a lot of depth in that squad that Kovacic will not have to be overburdened with games for him to decide games, for him to carry the ball forward and what have you. So on that score, if Chelsea are going to make £30 million, £35 million, I agree. It is tantamount to arming an opponent. But then again, if you are looking at where Chelsea is as a club in terms of transition and in terms of where they are and everything, then you can understand that Chelsea may want to cash in on the Croat. And I think that's where the club is now, as it stands now. Now, it's an exciting time that Chelsea are moving away finally from the double pivot of Jorginho and Kovacic. It was an insanely technical midfield pair. Very good on the ball, top rate cyclists, can dictate and run any midfield in the world. But the biggest problem of that midfielder was they were technically solid. They weren't combative and aggressive enough. They weren't top players in terms of aggression and the combativeness of the play that you want them to give you. Anytime they met teams that could bully them, it was easier relatively to bully them because they were not physical profiles. They were not aggressive. They were not combative. And that's why I'm excited about Chelsea's love for Manuel Ugarte. And then the fact that Jorge Mendes is frontlining that. The news is out there for everybody to see. The most important thing is Ugarte is a hybrid of an aggressor and a very good on-the-ball ability for the squad. He plays so well, dictates the pace of the game, understands exactly where he wants to play as a midfielder. And he's going to be a wonderful partner for Enzo Fernandez because, first of all, both of them are South Americans. They speak Spaniard. They understand how they want to play. If they add Moise Caicedo to it, it makes sense. And the news is that Chelsea have increased their wage that they want to give him. They are willing to pay a 60 million in some installments for Sporting CP. Also, they are willing to add more. And I think that the most important part of that bid is the fact that Jorge Mendes is frontlining that for Chelsea. Today, Sunday, 4th June 2023, the news is that Vavell, Steelworth, and Joe Shields are in Portugal finalizing because they are not so confident that PSG are out of it. They want to get it done, and there's going to be a possible a medical in London next week. So Ugarte is on his way to Chelsea. Enzo Fernandez was done. good combative technical midfield pair for Chelsea Football Club. And I think that they are building the needed profile for Mauricio Pochettino, exactly what he needs. Pochettino is getting the profile that he needs at Chelsea Football Club. Thank you. This is what we bring you to the end of the Counter Press on today's edition. My name, Fiifi-Manfred. Thank you. See you soon.